So please welcome this week's special guest, Steve. So, Alice, what is Steve to you?
This is Steve, and for over 17 years, we have been having an argument about a courgette.
Bob, how do you know Steve?
This is Steve, and I won his appendix off him in a bet.
And finally, Lee, your relationship with Steve.
This is Steve. He landed his helicopter to tell me off because he saw me shushing him whilst he was in the sky.
Hi there.
Bob.
Bob, just remind us of your statement.
This is Steve, who I won his appendix from him in a bet.
Right.
So, go on, do it to me.
I'm not willing to give you any information unless you ask for it.
You're making me ask.
Yes.
You're making me come to you cap in hand.
Yes.
And going, fill this with your nonsense. Fill this with whatever corrupted balderdash comes out of you, and then I will put it on my head.
And set fire to it. No.
So how do you know him?
We were both members of what's called the Middlesbrough Supporters South Club, and we watched the occasional football matches together as Middlesbrough supporters in London.
So you'd go to a pub and watch...
Yeah, no, usually the same pub, the Wheatsheaf in Borough.
That sounds plausible as a pub. I bet that exists. Can we just stay with that? OK. And one day you're there watching the... Is this when the bet is
Funnily enough, no.
Right.
The match had finished, we stayed around for a booze, and me, Steve, and a couple of other lads. We went back to, not Steve's house, but one of our fellow Middlesbrough supporters who lives in Lant Street, just beyond the Wheatsheaf.
How does the bet come about?
We played darts.
All right.
We played darts for
That's
months.
nice. People leave the pub, go home, play darts. Yeah.
And then the duvet was a great big bar towel. Just...
They still have bar towels. They're more like metal grids now.
Yeah, they've gridded them up.
They've gridded them up and raised them.
It's all preparing for A1 to take over. AI, sorry.
A1!
Did you think that film with Will Smith was called A1?
So, Bob, I have had my appendix removed.
Me too.
And the only reason I knew I needed it removed is because suddenly, in a fit of pain, it started to proper bubble up. So how can Steve now bet his appendix unless it's the day that it starts throbbing?
He had it out as a child, and it was in a jar with a little red top. And they come out red, but over the years it had turned yellow. And I thought that was a very nice transition, colour-wise. Red to yellow.
And when it finally goes green, you're allowed to go, aren't you?
How does the bet come about?
The bet comes about because I won, and I think it was quite a lot of money, 50 quid or whatever. Steve wanted a final game. Yeah. I didn't want a game, so I demanded, if I win, I take your appendix.
Right.
It's on the shelf with some wisdom teeth.
But why is his appendix there?
Ask Steve.
As you well know, I'm not allowed to ask Steve.
No,
But you're not in Steve's flat, are you?
No.
You've come to this flat straight from the pub.
Yes. No, I realised... No, I realised that.
Yes.
Yes.
He just brought it with him to the game.
Oh, did I say it wasn't Steve's flat?
Yes, you did say it wasn't
No,
Steve.
it was Steve's flat in Lant Street. I do apologise.
I mean, you definitely said it wasn't Steve's flat.
Well, then I'm a fool and I'm ashamed.
He's trying to weigh up the odds here. Did I accidentally say the wrong name, or did he bring all bits of his body to the game and put them on the mantelpiece? And he's very wisely gone for the wrong name.
It was Steve's flat.
Yeah.
Suddenly. And so the various body parts are on the shelf already. And you win both his wisdom teeth and his appendix.
Just the appendix.
Oh, you left the teeth.
Yeah, I didn't fancy them at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I had my wisdom teeth out the other day.
Did you?
The other day.
You probably did that yourself in the kitchen.
Yes.
But what
Yeah.
about Bob?
Bob, he tripped over his own details.
If you're basing your decision on my mistake over the flat, I advise you strongly against that.
You can see what he's doing, can't you? Even though, apparently, we've totally caught him out. We've totally caught him out. And he said it was someone else's flat and the appendix was there. Should be it. Game, set and match. But, oh, no. What if he did that deliberately? What if, oh, my mistake. Yes, of course it was Steve's flat. Oh, dear me. Head in hands. And that's just luring me in. Isn't it? Like when the Norman soldiers pretended to run away and the Saxons came off the hill and then they turned and they cut them down.
I think, David, you should actually sit this one out because you're traumatised.
Thank you. I will take a bit of a sabbatical.
Yeah.
We've ruled out Lee. Now you two decide between the other two.
I like the way you did that. It's completely up to you two, but not
Not
Lee.
Lee, it's not Lee. Yeah.
If you're on holiday, are you going to be having an argument for 2 hours over a courgette?
Academics, that's the kind of thing they argue about, you know?
That's true.
That is like proper full-on banter to them.
Yeah, that is true.
So, David, I can rest assured it is Alice.
I think it's the courgette.
I can rest assured.
Yeah?
Yeah.
David?
He's worrying me again.
Listen,
I don't know. I think I don't know, actually. I think
you're
it's Bob.
falling for it.
It's
He's
Bob.
affecting her
It's
now.
actually Bob. It's you, Bob. It's Bob.
OK, it's time to decide.
Well, I mean... OK.
I think this could break him.
I do think Steve looks like someone who could have a 17-year row about the genetic makeup of a vegetable.
So you're going to say it's Alice,
That's
then,
what
yes?
I'm going to say. Yeah, we're going with that. That's what we're going with.
Steve, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Steve, and Alice and I have been arguing about courgettes for 17 years.
Yes, Steve is Alice's bickering buddy. Thank you very much, Steve. Which...
I can break an apple in half with my bare hands.
David's team.
What is your technique?
I take it in the hands.
Yes. Are your hands bare at this point?
Of course they're bare.
Yes.
Friction's very much part of this, this equation. You must pull it, I'm going to say east to west. A lot of people think you need to twist. You don't need to twist.
You don't need to twist. You just
don't need to
pull apart.
Pull it apart.
How do you get the
Pull the
grip?
apple apart.
Won't your hands just slide away from it? I'd have thought you'd need to twist.
If you twist, you fail. Twisting equals tears.
So you just grip the apple in your hands and then fling them apart, and you have 2 half apples.
No, I rip it apart.
Yeah.
The way you were miming it then, there's like downward pressure from the thumbs, almost as if you're trying to open it like a book.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like? Because I can believe that more than the just grip, bang!
Yes. No, David, that's fair enough. Yes,
It's just sort of, you're almost like you insert.
Oh, but I so wish it was bang. It's not.
No, you're inserting
It's
the
like-
thumbs to
Yeah.
try and pull it apart that way.
No insertion.
All right.
No,
But
that's
downward
the grip.
pressure.
Downward pressure. And there it is.
So where are the thumbs? Are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
You know where the thumbs are, David.
Where are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
Yes.
No insertion or penetration. Just
No, absolutely not. No, the thumbs are used for gripping, not for ripping. That's what I was taught. And if you remember that,
The system comes with a catchphrase.
if you can remember that, you too will be parting apples.
How long have you done this for?
I have done it for a long time. What I used to do to entertain was I used to take hard-boiled eggs, peel them, I can still do it, and I could take the shell off in one. And you actually peel the membrane rather than trying to... Don't be all rough-handed and don't, you know, take your time. Off it comes bang.
And when did you...
That's the correct way to present. With an apple, it's this.
When did you first discover that you could do the apple? How did it come about? How did it come to be?
I can't remember the first time I did it. I can remember the feeling. But I can't remember the first time I did it.
What was the feeling?
The feeling was magnificent.
Right, David, is that the truth?
I don't think so, but it could be. Can we leave it at that?
Yeah, that's fine. OK, on to the next round. No, we can't.
I agree with that. I'd love to see him. I hope it's true because then they'll make him do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. If it's not true,
Make
will
him
they
do
make
it
him
anyway.
try?
So what's it going to be?
Oh, I really want it to be true, but it isn't true, I don't think.
You can't pull an apple apart, can you?
You can't just rip it in half. I so want you to be able to.
If you and I can't, sure.
And I can't.
I've never tried.
Have you ever tried?
If I had an apple here, and I can have a few
But I think
goes.
if those two can't do it, David, with the greatest respect, it's highly unlikely you're going to pull it off.
Tremendously, frighteningly strong hands, as I found out to my own cost.
So,
So you think it's a lie, then?
I'm afraid I do,
OK,
yeah.
well, I'll go with the giant.
You're going to say it's a lie? All right, you're saying it's a lie. Bob, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Yes. Well, guess what I've got under the desk? My trusty box of apples. It's a proper apple. Ready,
Yes.
Bob?
It's a big one.
Thank you. Not you, him.
Does your husband play cricket?
I love that sort of thing. where shall I do it?
I really hope he can't do it. Yeah!
Whoa!
I have a didgeridoo suspended from a tree in my back garden so that when the wind blows in a particular direction, it pops soothing sounds of the outback into my bedroom window.
David's team, what do you think?
Pops, soothing sounds of the outback.
Yes.
What a poetic way of putting it.
Thank you.
Do you genuinely believe that that particular instrument makes a pop?
How would you describe it, Greg?
Hold it, audience.
And how soothed do you feel?
Right, everyone stop popping.
I get this every night in my house, please.
Where is it, Bob? It's in a tree.
Yeah.
And you made a conscious decision to put it in the tree.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was hanging from a tree.
What it is it's trapped in a V. I was like, is there a name for that area of a tree? Is it called the Clooney or something?
It's called...
What's it not to believe George Clooney's holding a didgeridoo at Madrid? It's garden. Why don't you believe this?
This part of your finger there is called the Clooney.
Is it?
So I'm assuming
I never knew
that's
that.
why I said Clooney. I know it's the Clooney. Where it... And it's wedged there.
It's wedged in the tree's V.
Yes, it's wedged horizontally in the tree's V, facing southeast, which is the prevailing wind where I live.
Where do you live? Not Britain.
Britain.
No, the prevailing wind in Britain is southwesterly.
It doesn't happen every night.
So tell us what this sound does for you, then. You're lying in bed at night and you had a lovely day, you're just settling down, and you hear... And then what happens to you?
I'm soothed. And the mind is soothed. Do you know you get things that will do the same thing to, say, your throat?
Yes.
That does it to the mind.
What if your brain's fine? You don't want to hear that every time it's windy.
You're always soothing your brain. That's what sleep is.
Hence the success of the pillow.
Yeah.
Can I just say, though, Bob, I've been led to believe by out-of-work hippies over the years that the didgeridoo is an incredibly difficult instrument to play, and yet it would appear that all one has to do is to pass air through it.
No, well, you have to position it correctly, just as you would have to over your mouth. I've done that by utilising the Clooney of the tree.
You're
But,
using
I mean,
the
but for
Clooney of a
example-
tree as human lips. Even to get any kind of noise out of a didgeridoo, the Clooney, which it doesn't exist, on Bob's tree, would have to be fleshlight, because Aboriginal doesn't just go... Because it's not just wind, they use their lips.
Very good point. Very good point. Just coming up this time of year, I admit it's a lot better. In fact, I have a wisteria that grows through the didgeridoo.
Of course.
And when the wisteria comes into leaf, not only does it pipe the wind towards the didgeridoo, but it acts as the lips.
It's long been said that if the wind blows in the right direction through wisteria, it can play any instrument in the world.
It's time to decide, David.
OK, we need to make a guess.
What are you going to say?
I think it's a lie.
Of course it's a lie.
We think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie. Well, Bob, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was lying.
Bob, you're next.
I once plucked a seagull out of the sky with my bare hands just because my mate Dennis bet me I couldn't.
David's true.
Yeah, true. Where were you?
On Redcar Beach, northeast of England.
What were you doing?
I was eating chips. The bird comes for the chips.
That's a classic North East chat-up line, isn't it? Like, birds come for the chips.
So which hand are you holding the chips in?
I think it was the right, because as I remember it was...
That's your left.
Yeah.
That's your left.
Your left. And are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
OK, you've kept your dominant hand for bird catching.
It's ready. Not just bird catching, there's all sorts goes off on Redcar Beach.
And so do you catch it with one hand or two hands?
I caught it with one hand.
Just like that?
Yeah.
When was this?
This was be about 77, 78.
Years ago. You're looking good.
It was the early days, actually. It's very prevalent now, isn't it, them swooping down for ice creams?
Yes.
But in those days, it seemed quite a rare event. You could hold your chips, that was part of the game, and keep hold of them, let a pigeon get them, and, you know, let it take its...
A pigeon, you say?
Seagull. Seagull.
Sam, what are you thinking about this?
I think it's not true, because they're massive.
Oh, it's a big bird, yeah.
Yeah, they are massive. And in 77, how big would you have been in 77?
6 foot, 6'2". Something like that.
So, Miles, what are you thinking?
I think it's true. And if not true, it's a sort of charming kind of Ken Loach film.
Well, this puts David in an unenviable position.
David? I still got it.
I'm not saying you haven't got the speed, but you've got to connect with the leg of a large seabird.
It's not a leg, is it?
Well,
the seabirds have legs.
What do you call it?
You know that thing that their foot is attached to? What would you call that spindly bit that goes up to their body?
Well, now you say it, it's a leg, but doesn't that seem a bit odd that birds have legs?
You know when you get served a chicken or a turkey?
It's a chicken leg.
Exactly. So, come on, what's it going to be?
OK, I'm going to go lie.
Oh. You're saying... Are you sure about that?
No, I'm not sure about it.
But lie is the answer you want to put forward, is it?
Lie is what I'm going with.
He says it's a lie. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling a lie.
Oh,
My first taste of fame was when the local newspaper dubbed me the Cockroach King.
David's team.
What was the newspaper?
My local. It was called the South London Press.
So, are you from South London?
I was in the lead-up to the headline, The Cockroach King.
Why were you in the public eye doing what?
I was a solicitor at the time, and I sued the local authority. Because of cockroach infestations in the council houses. Yes! That's what I did.
And of course, it was that kind of style in court that won the day. You know?
We settled outside of court, actually. But the... want to change the names because these are real legal proceedings that we're talking about.
Right. Well, why does the fact that it's real legal proceedings mean you have to change the names?
Because I don't think it's fair to say that, let's say she's called Barbara Lighthouse. Lived in the horror of cockroach infestation.
Were you representing Barbara Lighthouse?
I was, yes.
She'd engaged your services?
She's engaged my services. I visited her property.
Must have been ages to get to the top.
There were Egyptian cockroaches. So I had an idea, right? I said, I bet this is bad for your mental health, living with cockroaches. And I took them to the magistrate's court on a private criminal prosecution under the Public Health Act.
Why are you counting every letter in the same? Are you working out how much to charge her?
You mentioned the Egyptian cockroach.
The Egyptian cockroach,
How
yeah.
many? I wasn't aware there were different types.
They live in the concrete, and they can actually live off the concrete that the buildings are made of.
Eat the concrete?
Yep.
Bob, they got some hard cockroaches. They live in the concrete.
They nip out to go behind the fridge or the cooker, or to turn the light out.
What were the size of these Egyptian cockroaches?
They're long and thin, slip right in.
That's my profile on Tinder.
It is odd the cockroach king would suggest a champion of the cockroach rather than an opponent.
Or in fact, their leader.
Yes.
Did you lead the cockroaches away like the Pied Piper?
No, I didn't. What happened is I got an expert from the University of Cambridge called Broccoli High Kicks. Again, I've changed his name. His brief from me was, can you in any way argue that this is contrary to public health? He confirmed it, went to court. It's all coming ever so clear now. We went to court, yeah? Ronnie Omlets was the housing officer.
The weird thing is you haven't changed his name, have you?
And what was she called? Barbara Lighthouse. Barbara Lighthouse brought a clear jar of the cockroaches with her and poured them over Ronnie Omlets. Right? Of course, he was very frightened, didn't know what to do, at which point Barbara Lighthouse said, I think I've made my point, you know, to the housing officer.
Yeah.
This is what I live with. So the council agreed to rehouse. Next day, the cockroach king.
Right, what are you going to say, Dave?
What do you think?
It's that bizarre that only Bob could make it up, so I think that's true.
That doesn't make sense. If you're saying only Bob could make it up, then he could have made it up.
No, only Bob can make it up like that.
Right.
So convincing.
Yeah. So we're in trouble, aren't we? Because you're saying that if anyone else had said it, it would definitely be true because they couldn't have invented it. The one person who's saying it is also coincidentally the only human who could also have invented it.
Yes.
What a terrible set of circumstances. You think it's true? Do you think it's true?
Yes, let's say it's true.
We're going to go true.
OK. Now, Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling the truth. I've put a toaster on my bedside table, and the last thing I do at night is pop 2 slices of bread in it, ready for the morning.
Right, so you put the bread in the toaster, but you don't put the toast down.
No.
That would be crazy.
So in the
Unless you were using it as an alarm clock for a 3-minute nap.
So in the morning, do you wake naturally or do you have an alarm?
I have an alarm, but I tend to wake up before the alarm goes off. It's one of the reasons I do it, because at the heart of it is to not wake other people up in the house.
Oh, right, OK.
What do you put on your toast in the morning? Have you got, like, some butter?
In the little cupboard there, I've got honey, I've got Marmite pots, I've got a good selection.
So in the morning, you wake up before the alarm. What do you do then?
I turn on my tea's made.
Right.
There we go. I don't think everyone knows what a tea's made is.
No.
It's where alarm clock
meets kettle.
It's a combination, and you set them the night before, and you wake up and the kettle's boiling.
Is a tea's made in the toaster on the same bedside table?
No,
as the alarm clock?
No, the tea's made is just tucked round the other side.
So you wake up, you reach round the bedside table onto the tea's made that's on the floor, is it?
And it's just there.
Why are you not just going downstairs to do it?
Because all my children, and there are a lot of them, sleep downstairs.
Around coal bucket.
Why do they sleep downstairs?
Because that's where their bedrooms are. I'm not being facetious.
There's only space for you to sleep upstairs, but downstairs there's a great breadth.
Great breadth for all these children.
Yeah.
Now, what about eating the toast?
We haven't put the toast down yet. He's turned the switch on the tea's made by reaching round rather uncomfortably, so he doesn't have to get out of bed.
That's acting. You got...
Yeah,
no,
okay.
it's there.
Okay, done that.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
I sit on the bed.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
And cry.
Actually thinking, here we go, because it's 5 o'clock, whatever.
5 o'clock?
In the morning?
He doesn't want to wake the kids up. They're up in half an hour to clean the chimneys.
For someone who doesn't want to make noise, you've chose the noisiest breakfast to eat as well, munching on a bit of toast.
No, my wife's OK. It's just all these children.
You just can't. You just can't. As soon as if you were to go downstairs, as soon as you set foot on the lower floor, the hundreds of children would wake up, and you'd never get to the kitchen through that because they'll be thronging. All of them hungry.
David raises an interesting point. How many? You've said a lot of children. How many are down there?
I'm not willing to say.
Could you give us a ballpark?
Nope.
When do your children wake?
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
So
the older ones.
You've woken up at 5 a.m. So you've got to kill sort of
This is why it's making me sad.
What do you do?
So you sit looking at that toast for 8 hours. You can't make it last. Just nibbling at that.
Sometimes I don't even eat it, Suggs. I don't even bother.
Just sucks it so he doesn't wake his wife up.
There's no hurry, is there? I mean, you've got till 1 p.m.
Sitting there on the edge of the bed like that.
It's a bleak image in her bum.
What time does the missus get up? She gets up. She sit there with you going...
It's a freaking prison, isn't it, really? To be honest.
It's awful. It's true. I don't want to play anymore.
I'm thinking if your kids don't wake up till 1, what are you having for lunch?
Where's all the lunch stuff? In the wardrobe. A little gas stove and a tin of beans.
I take the panel off the side of the bath. A little can of gas.
Some spam.
Maybe make a corned beef hash in the front.
Right, what are you going to say?
I'm leaning towards that this is the truth.
You see the madness. This is how the madness takes you.
This is what he does. This is what he does. He plays with your mind.
And even if we're wrong, all we know is tomorrow we can wake up and go down to our kitchens, whereas he's got to wake up.
No.
We win a life.
You see, no, that's not true. Because if we say it's true and we're wrong, yes, tomorrow we can go down to our kitchens and have a normal breakfast.
Yeah.
But so, it turns out, can he? He'll be skipping down the stairs laughing while his children, who have to get up 2 hours earlier than him, serve him breakfast. And you'll never believe what they believe. Those fools on the television. More bacon, child.
So Holly thinks it's true.
We have 2 things to choose between.
Yeah.
Let's assume we'll be wrong,
Yeah.
whatever we say. So which would we prefer? To say it's true and we're wrong, or to say it's a lie and we're wrong? That's the choice. I think saying it's a lie and we're wrong is easier to live with than saying it's true and we're wrong.
I think it's true.
But you think it's true?
Yeah, I do.
So shall we go with true?
Oh, go on then, Dave. Oh.
OK,
God.
we're going to go with true, and this is... the future is...
Please be telling the truth.
Yeah, OK, we'll say
They're
true.
saying it's true. Bob, was it true? Or was it a lie?
Oh, God.
I was telling a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Bob doesn't keep a toaster by his bed.
Oh, my God, Bob, you're...
That noise signals time is up.
So soon?
I recently had to charm a spider out of my shoe by tooting a flute at it.
David's team.
So, where were you?
I was at home.
So was this spider a normal British domestic spider?
Yes.
How big was it, Bob?
It's black, but it's not one...
And what colour was it?
It's not the ones that have got a little body and big, long legs.
Sorry, it wasn't the type with a small body and long legs?
No.
What type was it?
Well, you can work the rest out yourself, surely. Big body, small legs.
Yeah.
Was this a gerbil?
No, that's a
If
bird,
it
you
had been a
idiot.
gerbil, I'd have used a lute. Honestly. It's actually just a very everyday situation. My wife doesn't like spiders, very scared of them, and it's kind of my job to get rid of spiders. I don't like them either. I'm not going to use my hands or whatever.
No, you wouldn't.
Can you mime the blow moment?
Don't fall for this.
Sorry?
He gets me with this every week. Don't fall for it, Bob. I've got just the thing for you if you haven't got a flute. Close your eyes. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it.
Did you blow it into the shoe?
Yes, I blew down the flute to bring it out into the heel area. These were a kind of snakeskin elastic slipper.
Yeah.
I brought up just under the windowsill, above where the cat litter is.
Yeah.
I put them there because I wanted to get that height, and it didn't
So
come out.
you
I tapped
moved
it.
the
Yes,
moved the slipper with the spider in it.
I moved it facing the cupboard where I keep the plates. It's got little holes in it. And the spider emerged.
So the spider emerged but didn't leave the shoe or slipper?
No, didn't leave
the slipper? Didn't
No,
leave the slipper?
just...
Had a look around, went back in.
Well,
So you were no better off, were you?
No, I didn't feel like I was better off, but at least I'd found out that we owned a flute as a family.
If I was scared of spiders, I wouldn't go anywhere near that slipper. I'd just leave it. I would just let
I'm not that scared, Anna.
Are you not? Scared of 1 to 10?
I'm ginger about them.
OK.
Yeah. Ginger.
Is that right? Ginger's that a word?
It is, yeah,
That's a word.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it's the correct word in that situation.
It's like you pick something up gingerly.
Gingerly.
It's not. It doesn't just mean the flavour ginger. A ginger nut is not just a biscuit. It could be a tentative testicle.
Do you now know who the flute belongs to?
Yes, of course, it was my son's flute.
Your son, is he a flautist?
No. We hoped he would be, but he could never find the flute.
Well, what are you thinking?
Well, what I'm confused by is that if you fear spiders...
I do a bit.
...and you believe that there's a spider in this shoe, I think you would be afraid to move the shoe.
Yes. Not at all.
I also think you would have worried about, as you go to take the breath to blow it, you accidentally breathe in.
Yeah.
I don't have to breathe in to breathe out.
Michael, which way are you leaning?
It sounds too much like the surreal world of Bob Mortimer to be actually the truth. I think it's a lie.
It's a lie? Do you think it's a lie?
Yeah. No, nobody in the world owns a flute, really, do they?
You think it's a lie?
You think it's a lie?
Yeah.
Bob, truth or lie?
It was a lie.
Bob, you're next.
On a dark winter's night, I once broke into the garden of the local witch's house and was shocked by what I found there.
David's team.
OK, at what point...
There's a lot of questions, isn't there?
At what point in your life did this happen?
I'm going to guess somewhere between when I was 11 and 13.
12?
I'm going to say 12.
And you say the local witch's house. What do you mean by that?
I mean, this is a very distant memory now.
OK.
It was the house, not very far from me, where all the kids said that the witch lived.
And who did live there?
I don't know their name.
Right.
I'll call them Mary Candles. It had hedges at the front, you know, it's like uncut hedges, a front gate covered with hedging, and it said on the front gate, it said simply the words, "No thanks."
No, really?
So that's quite creepy, isn't it?
Can I ask a question? You started that with saying you were shocked by what you saw there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, so shocked by what I found there.
So what did you find there?
I'm not comfortable with telling you that just yet. Sorry, I'm not.
This is going so far, it's got to be a lie, isn't it?
Let me just say, it does not have to be a lie. Whatever he says, however absurd, it could still be true. However plausible, it could still be a lie. It's just, essentially, what we are doing for this section is entirely futile. We will talk for a bit, then we will guess, then it will be over.
So how did you come to go into this house? Who were you with?
I was with, what's he called? I was with Ken Numbers. I changed it, yeah. Ronnie Calculator's son. The vibe is, it's very unkempt, it's the gardening, because as we all know, Lee, yeah, witches hate gardening, wizards hate plumbing. Right? So we knew it was a female residence.
Right. So you'd never seen Mary Candles, but you were only speculating it must be a witch rather than a wizard because it was an unkempt garden with no sign of deficient plumbing.
Exactly. You know, we wanted to be the first people who said, no, we penetrated, you know, its boundaries.
Yeah.
We went into the front lawn, down a gate to the side, past the bins, past the back door, and then to the window where there was a light on, a big picture window, looked inside, and that's when we saw this extraordinary sight. Well, extraordinary to us as 12-year-olds.
What was it? You've got to say.
It was a tiny, tiny horse. And I'm not saying it was watching television, that was all that was in the room. It was a tiny horse and a television on. I did get in the house.
You got in the house?
Yes, Mrs. Candles came out.
Right.
Yes, and she said to me, "You're one of the Mortimer boys, aren't you?"
Were you?
Yeah. So Ken said. And she said, "Would you like to come in and see the horse?" And she took us in, and it stank of paraffin. It was hot.
That's horse?
Hot. No, that was the house.
I think the horse stunk of paraffin.
The horse did stink, actually.
Did he?
Yeah.
Of?
Meat, hot meat. As we were looking at the horse, I always remember this, she came in, and she had a toilet seat in her hand. And she said, "If I give you some money, do you think you could get rid of this for me?"
What did you do with it?
Just threw it on our way home, just threw it somewhere else, I imagine.
Did she say what the horse's name was?
Max.
Yes. You'd have thought minimum.
All right, well, now, Suggs, what are you thinking about this?
I mean, you know, it's so preposterous, but David's flung me by saying this is the way he carries on anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I mean, but no, I'm saying lie, of course.
You say it's a lie.
But it was when you said the horse smelt like hot meat.
Well, do you remember the detail of the paraffin heaters?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
We're talking 40, maybe 50 degrees there with those old...
40 or 50 degrees centigrade. So we're talking like the temperature of the desert in Saudi Arabia.
Did you ever see Mary Candles again?
No, never.
Never saw her again?
Never saw her again.
She probably melted in that heat.
All right, what are you going to say then, David?
Do we think lie?
I think it's a lie. I think it's a lie.
I think it is a lie.
All right, they're saying it's a lie. Now, we should bear in mind that when it comes to Bob, David has a very poor track record. Let's see if he can be better tonight. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling the truth.
It's true. Bob really did break into a creepy garden.
I once masterminded a daring heist on a campsite tuck shop.
David's team.
OK. Where was the campsite?
Hexham.
What did you steal? What did you take?
Jay, my memories of this are quite vague. I was only 15.
OK.
15.
You must still remember what you took,
Yes,
though,
but it's like picking bits of pollen off a mouse's handkerchief. So don't get all forensic on me.
Okay. Don't start asking him any questions, all right? Just make your decision and move on.
We were invited to just believe him.
Just tell us what you do remember, Bob.
Not in general, about this story.
I remember...
I remember me and Jean. She was lovely.
Oh, your teeth fell out.
You remember that, don't you?
Your teeth fell out. There was a lot
remember
of wind.
waking up in Threshers? Don't you remember that?
So, it was Hexham.
It was Hexham.
And what sort of a campsite? Was it tents or caravans?
It was, no, dormitories, wooden.
Yeah.
It's coming back, wow. Yeah. It's amazing when you... And it was for gifted children for the summer.
Is that what they told you, Bob?
Yes. There are people there, interesting people with different gifts.
What was your gift?
And they were allowed to bring a friend?
There was... So there was people who were good at pottery, people good at art, people who were gifted at fencing or...
We're all very curious to know, Bob. What were you good at?
I was there because of my special abilities at football.
And the camp wasn't just for children who were good at football, it was for children who were good at a wide range of things.
Gifted children.
Right.
So you were proposed by the school or the local authority. It was huts in a pine forest, a place where you could canoe, a place where you could pot. Yeah.
All boys?
All boys in my dorm, yeah.
Do you remember any of them?
I was with Pork Chops Johnson. He was called that because he has a very thick layer of fat across his back. Because this is a criminal enterprise, I'm not using their real name.
Oh, of course, yeah. Was it Lamb Chop Jenkins?
Lamb Chop Jenkins, he just had a thin bone. So, and there was the mole.
The mole?
The mole, they're the two people that I carried out the heist with.
Why did you decide to do this heist?
Well, it was the evening.
Yeah.
And the nights had gotten quite long. It was a summer camp.
Winter was drawing in. For some reason, the gifted children hadn't been picked up. They were being left there to fend for themselves. See if among their gifts are foraging and surviving the cold.
Well, never a better equipped group of people to be abandoned. We had archers, potters, fencers.
Footballers, those are the key things you need. We can sort out the archery and the football, then we have a civilization.
So, it was evening.
Yeah.
And there was a tuck shop there. Well, it was one of the huts. What we noticed, right, was that the tuck shop was on a slope, right? So there's an angle created, yeah? It's at an angle, I'm not very good at it. Say if a duck went quack. But not as the angle if it went fox! But about that, so we had this, so it had an end that was raised, and they'd filled that in with stones and soil. Right. So we went down there.
Oh, what happened?
Well, first off, of course, the mole removed the stones. Chop Johnson.
Yeah.
He slid in and with that magnificent back.
I would have thought he's the last person to be sliding through hole. The man with the biggest back.
Above him is floorboards. Bang!
Oh, you mean he used his back to get the floorboards up?
Yeah, got one up. Then
Is that when Smallhead Bob went through?
So he gets in.
He gets in. We heard an engine start up, so I gave out the cry, a warning. Whiffle.
What?
Go.
Right.
We went.
So you heard somebody. So did you get anything?
Yes.
What did you get?
A box of cereal.
One packet of cereal.
What did you do with it after?
Well, we ate it in the dorm with everyone in the dorm.
Oh, with everybody in the dorm?
Did you eat it dry?
Yes. Well, we put a bit of urine on it. Yes.
What do you think, David?
My instinct is it's not true, but it could be true. I mean, it's Bob.
I don't think it happened.
So you think it's a lie?
I'm going to go with Sue. I like the story, but I think it's a lie.
I think we're going to go lie.
You're going to say lie?
I'm braced. I'm braced for an odd experience.
So, Bob, was it the truth or was it a lie?
I was telling the truth.
It's Bob.
For 5 days, I pushed my cat around in a pram because it had sprained 3 of its ankles.
David's team.
OK, the 2 key questions here. How did it sprain 3 of its ankles, and why was it necessary for it to be so mobile during its recovery period?
OK, I'll address those. One of my children, my eldest boy, didn't throw a tyre at it, but threw a car tyre, and it hit the cat.
He threw the tyre recreationally, and the cat got in the way. How did one ankle survive?
Luckily, he was scratching his head at the time.
OK, so the tyre hits the cat.
Yes.
75% of the cat's ankles are, did you say sprained?
Well, they were bruised, and we were told that he mustn't walk.
So you were told he mustn't walk, but he needed still to travel.
Of course he did, yes. It was my younger boy's buggy we put him in.
Right.
Because you could strap him in.
You could strap the cat into the buggy?
Yeah.
How did you strap the cat into the buggy?
Using the straps, and the only journey he had to make was to the litter tray. So we just used to take him from the front room round to the litter tray.
Strap him in. Strap him in.
Tip him in.
Why didn't you just carry him?
No, because he had these bandages round his legs, but he would insist on trying to walk, which we knew would make his ankles worse.
You couldn't stop him walking, but he would consent to be strapped into a buggy.
It's not really. When it comes to pets, it's not really a matter of consent, David.
Never use the phrase, when it comes to pets, it's not a matter of consent. You can get into all sorts of problems with that.
Tell us more about this cat. What was its name?
Its name was Gudmundsson. It was a...
What?
Never ask Bob the name of anything in the story. Have we learned nothing?
His name's Gudmundsson.
Gudmundsson. Monson, as in the word monsoon, with an O missing.
Yes. Right. Gudmundsson. His name's Gudmundsson. He's a tabby Oriental.
Why Gudmundsson? Why?
My youngest son named him Gudmundsson.
All right, David, what are you thinking?
What do you think?
He's lying.
You think he's lying?
Yep, lying.
You think he's... Well, this is a superb moment. Unanimity from the team, so let's say...
Saying it's a lie.
We'll say it's a lie.
Bob Gudmundsson, truth or lie?
I am telling a lie.
Oh, superb! We got a point! We got a point!
I once set fire to my house with a box of fireworks.
David Mitchell's team.
Was this on purpose?
It was done out of ignorance.
So you're in your home, and you're 7 or 8 years old.
I'm 7 and I'm on my own, yeah.
On your own?
Yeah, and
What happens?
on one of the fireworks, I think it was the sparklers, it said, not suitable for indoor use. which at that age makes you think, that means they're OK.
Could you just not read the word not when you were obeying?
Did you think not was the brand? You go, oh, lovely. I love that not brand food. It's not for human consumption.
You know that logic that says, well, people have obviously tried them indoors.
So what happened?
I lit the sparkler. The sparks went into the box of fireworks, a standard box, and set them off. And I carried the box of fireworks, now beginning to light, into the kitchen, and I threw them into the kitchen. I thought it would be more suitable.
I think you're right. The kitchen, of all the rooms, is the most suitable for fireworks, isn't it?
Because of the oven, the gas, the stove. There is fire naturally in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's a lot of... And it's more wipe down.
Yes.
Less cloth.
So what happened then?
They went off in the
What was the sound like? Was it bing, wee?
No, these were only standard. And, you know, I remember, as I'm sat here now, wiping the scorch marks off the floor and thinking that my mum's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be in big trouble. Then I went back into the living room. Unbeknownst to me, I dropped one. And the living room was completely engulfed in flames.
It sounds to me that if you're on your own at home at 7, your mum's pretty laid back anyway.
She said, son, will you sit here and look after these fireworks? Whilst I go out to the bingo.
It's good to know there was at least one rule in your house.
What time of day did all this happen?
This happened mid-afternoon.
Oh, dear, so you didn't really get the benefit of it.
Who put the fire out?
I went to next door where Miss Best lived. She was, bless her, she was about 80. And I knocked on their door and said, my house is on fire. And she said, do you know, I thought it was.
So what happened then?
She called the fire brigade. They fired their water hoses throughout the house.
Yes.
Ruining it.
Even the rooms where there's no fire.
Not ruining it.
Yeah.
You do know that before they put out fires, it's already ruined, don't you?
Lee.
You're making this house all wet. It was lovely and warm before.
And it's the water damage that knackers the house.
Is it? Not the fire?
Not the fire. If they would use their boots to put it out. Honestly, the entire house, that's it. I was in a family of 4 children, and we were homeless.
Where...
Bob, keep it light.
No, I'm just saying.
Where were all the other kids while you were alone with the fire? Why did you take 3 children out?
They were looking after fireworks in other people's houses.
So when you say you were homeless, how much of the house did the inferno claim?
It's gone. Entire
That's
house
what, the
gone.
whole
house gone.
The
Yeah.
whole house burnt down?
Burnt down.
So how much did you leave in the living room? The fireworks in the kitchen have only caused a few scorches.
Yeah.
What did you leave in the living room?
And now, don't you feel stupid for saying standard fireworks?
Yeah.
I tell
Not
you,
really.
well,
I think you were stupid for lighting a sparkler indoors.
If you don't know what you dropped in the living room, is there a chance that it's just a coincidence?
No, it could be.
That it might not have been your fault?
That's what I said to the press.
Not your fault?
I believe he was called Ron Waffle.
Sorry, Ron Waffle?
It was either him, the other ace reporter on the Gazette was John Caramel. It was one of them two.
Caramel and Waffle.
The question is whether you think Bob has been telling the truth.
Well, I thought it seemed very plausible until we heard about caramel and waffle.
I think it's a lie.
Sarah.
I was going to say I want it to be true, but that sounds really horrible. I think it might be true.
Well, I think it's true. I think it's true.
So you're going to go for true?
Yeah.
OK, Bob, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Oh.
This is Keith. He's my oldest friend, and when we were at school together, we hid a dictaphone in the classroom ceiling to confuse our teacher.
So not to record, but to play stuff?
Yeah.
What sort of stuff?
Well, it was important to keep a gap at the beginning, so we let it run for about 15 minutes. And then there was the noise of a fly. a brief period, then another period, to confuse the teacher.
Where would you get the noise from the fly? You'd make the noise.
We'd make the noise ourselves,
Let's hear
I'm
your
not paying
fly
for no
noise.
fly to do it.
Let's hear your fly.
You know,
It does sound like a fly.
Can I hear your bee?
we didn't do a bee.
Do you know how to do a bee? Just like that fly.
Oh,
A
no,
bit louder.
it's more wholesome if it's a bee, isn't it?
Show me the difference, David.
Well, I don't know. I'm not...
Do
well,
it.
I'd say, OK, a bee would be a sort of a foot...
No, that's a
Whereas a
bumblebee.
fly is
Yeah.
Very good. That's good. Very good. Do you see the way he just slipped straight in and out of character?
So yes, there was silence.
Yeah.
Then a little bit of fly, silence, a little bit of fly, and then quite loudly, but not to frighten anyone, the word wolf. Then more silence. Yeah.
Oh,
A bit more silence. Then Speedway Stadium. Like that.
Speedway Stadium.
Do you know, the idea was just to say kind of random things. He was a really nice teacher called Bill Whittlingham.
How did Bill Whittlingham react to these random sounds?
Well, Mr. Whittlingham left the room and said, "Can you sort this out by the time I've gone back?" So whatever it is that's going on. And there was a cupboard in the corner where, interestingly, it had like exercise books in it, pens and that, but it also had, in a little cage, a hand lion, which is a robotic, it's a battery-operated thing.
What? Are you just saying any words that come into your head? In any order?
It's a hand lion, and if you
hand lion?
It's a robotic, animatronic hand lion, yeah? And if you'd been particularly good, he would put it on your hand and set it to lick it. If you'd been particularly...
Was this like a clockwork lion?
No, it was remote control.
It was remote control?
Remote control. He had the controller in his desk, and he said, But
the actual hand lion...
Get out the hand lion, and you'll get a lick. And if you'd been bad, you put him on your hand and you strike. He'd strike at your hand.
So the hand lion had two settings. It could lick or it could strike.
Yes, good boy, bad boy.
Right, very
Good boy,
sensible.
bad boy. Now, the only problem with it, of course, was...
What, this story?
The only problem was, of course, if the batteries got low, it would get constipated. No, anyway, but in this cupboard, so we got up on the cupboard.
You climb onto the cupboard that the hand lion is housed in.
Probably asleep.
Right, you reach up onto the ceiling tile.
Take out the dictaphone.
Switch it off.
Yep.
Mr. Whittlingham comes back in.
Yes.
What happens?
He's nervously awaiting another, edict from above. Doesn't come, we carry on with the lesson. British government and politics it was.
There was a lesson called British Government and Politics?
Yeah.
Whole year on that?
2 years, it was A-level.
For these sixth formers...
Yes.
A hand lion... a hand lion that can either lick or strike was what was used to express praise or the opposite to these 17 or 18-year-old students.
And it was very effective.
All right, is Keith Bob's classroom prankster, David's blanked buddy, or Lee's hawk handler?
I was believing Bob until the fact that he was 18 and the hand lion. I'm leaning towards David.
I think I'm leaning towards David.
I think it's Bob, and I think he panicked because he knew we were onto him, so he went on a ridiculous riff about a hand lion to throw us off the scent. I'll go Bob, but I've been wrong before.
Tara?
I'm going to go David.
We'll go David.
You're saying David?
Mm-hmm.
Keith, please reveal your true identity.
My name's Keith, and Bob and I recorded voices and hid the dictaphone in the ceiling.
Bob, you're next.
I once helped Damon Hill to Grand Prix success by presenting him with a pre-race snack.
David's team.
Well, it certainly tripped off the tongue.
Thank you.
What was the snack?
A Scotch egg.
And is there a definite correlation between him eating that Scotch egg and him being successful?
He felt that the Scotch egg had helped him succeed in the race. He told me so.
Is Damon Hill a close friend, Bob?
No, no.
Then why were you giving him foodstuff?
Well, I'd been invited to the Grand Prix.
Which Grand Prix?
The British.
In which year?
Think.
1996, David, but I'm not willing to exclude 4 years either side of that. Put it this way, it was definitely one of the decades.
Do you like racing, then?
No, I'm not a Formula One fan.
Right.
I probably prefer soil science.
OK. Who was he driving for?
He was driving for a company that had very fast company cars.
So, why were you permitted access to a major racing driver?
Because his manager, Shane Tobacco... I can't remember his name.
You can't remember his name?
Shane, or whoever it was also with another bloke, you know, benefiting from hospitality.
What was his name?
Let's say Top Heavy Ken. But I remember we went upstairs on the bus. Damon was there. He had a bed in there.
Like a sort of Winnebago.
Yeah, and it had, you know, mugs with "I love cars," "I love handbrakes," "I love headrests."
And this is the day of the race.
David, this is just like an hour and a half before the race.
An hour and a half before the race. You've turned up an hour and a half early, because even though you're more into soil science, you want to soak up the atmosphere with a good hour and a half of waiting before the televised traffic begins.
Yes.
So you turn up. The last thing Damon needs before a race is any quiet time. He just wants a bit of hubbub on his bus. Were there any other people there apart from you and Shane and Damon?
I was with my wife as well, yeah.
OK.
And...
Top Heavy Ken.
So me and the wife went up. I think when you go to someone's home or their Winnebago or whatever, you should... Do you know, like, if you're going to a dinner party at someone's house, you'll always take them a bottle of vinegar, yeah?
So your gift to thank him for the hospitality was a Scotch egg?
No. I call it pocket meat. Whenever I'm away from the house, I have pocket meat.
Yeah.
That's it. I have, like, a chicken leg or pork pie. And I thought, I've got some pocket meat. It was a Scotch egg in its cellophane. And I said, Damon, we all know that if you pop a sausage roll in an American's pocket, it brings him good luck. I said, maybe a Scotch egg would work for a British fella like you. And I gave it to him.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, very much.
What, that if you put meat in an American's pocket...
Processed meat.
Have you ever heard of that?
Not really, no.
No.
It's all been a bit of a lot of talking. I've quite forgotten the original bit of the story. Did he eat said Scotch egg before the race?
I'll never know, Samantha, but after the race, he said that he took the Scotch egg round with him. He swore he did.
In the car?
I don't know whether he put it in the glove box on the passenger seat. Whether he ate it.
But, Bob, you're not claiming that he ate the egg.
All I would say is that when I was watching, when Damon went past, in his tailwind, a person next to me said, Damon's tailwind smelt really meggy, which of course is meat and egg. Meat and egg.
Okay. So what are we thinking, Sam?
Do you know what? Sometimes stories are so mad that they've got to be true.
What I would say here is be wary when it comes to Bob.
Oh, OK.
Do you remember, David, that I think it was the last time Bob was with us, he told us Chris Rea told him to put an egg into his bath.
I can't even remember. Was that true?
No.
But you believed it was true?
Yes.
Miles, what are you thinking?
Well, I think that you're sort of somewhat cynically using this as an opportunity to tout your kind of charms. And you're hoping to kind of drum up work, and then your agent's going to get lots of phone calls saying, oh, would Bob Mortimer be able to sort of slip Gareth Bale a pasty and stuff like this? I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie? But you think it's true?
I'm on the fence.
Oh, dear.
This is a horrible situation. I don't know. My instinct is it's a lie.
You're saying lie? OK. Yeah. Bob Mortimer. A lucky Scotch egg for Damon Hill at the British Grand Prix. Truth or lie?
I was telling the truth.
He's got it again. It is an impossible situation. One egg thing's true, the other egg... How can I have disbelieved the wrong egg thing? So obviously what they'd make up some random thing about an egg and a long-departed 90s celebrity. Is he dead?
He's not...
No, he's not dead. He's just you never hear from him. What does Damon Hill do now? He's probably into soil science.
Right. Our next round... It's Bob.
Oh, mother of God, no.
I recently had to pull out of a TV show because my teeth fell out.
David's team.
What was the TV show?
Sunday brunch.
And why had your teeth fallen out?
Because I bit on a Kit Kat chunky.
Okay.
I may need you to take...
I'll take the reins.
Lead counsel on this.
OK, so, Bob, for many years, a Kit Kat chunky was my favourite chocolate because of the lack of suction. Now, you bite into a Curly Whirly, you ain't never getting those teeth back, right? But
when you say the lack of suction, what in God's name do you mean?
What I'm saying here, if you bite into a Curly Whirly, it engulfs your tooth and it ain't letting go.
But it's not suction, is it?
It is suction because it creates a vacuum of ooze.
I am on Munya's side about the word suction in this instance.
Thank you. Oh, on his side?
Yeah, he's Munya, you're Rob, remember?
Yeah. On his side?
Because it is a sort of suction. It sticks, and as it pulls, it creates a vacuum of ooze.
That's it.
Right. So what happened? What befell your teeth?
I keep my Kit Kat chunkies in the fridge, so it was very hard. So it's like biting into a rock, and I lost...
But not the freezer, though. Just the fridge.
Do you know what? It's a fridge drawer.
Oh, one of those drawers that are refrigerated.
Yeah.
Oh, they're very fancy.
Oh, what a purchase, yes.
What's the context under which you're eating this? Is it relaxed?
I wasn't thinking about anything in particular. Maybe the band ELO.
Which period of ELO's career would you have been dwelling on?
The early period before they met in Birmingham.
Before they met?
Yes, before
so
they met.
weren't even a band?
No. What are you going to do with your life? I don't know, maybe make stock cubes. Maybe we should start a band.
But you said you were on Sunday brunch, or did I imagine that?
No, I had to cancel my...
Oh, you cancelled Sunday brunch?
I lost everyone.
What?
What?
You bit into it with abandon. Yeah. You lost, what, 4 top teeth?
9.
No. 9?
Yes! All along the top. You take 1 bite from
One
this...
bite.
And that's it. 9 teeth are toast.
No.
Yes.
It can't be.
believe it.
It can't be. The girth of a Kit Kat chunky is not 9 teeth.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have put it better. It's only going to take 4, 5 maximum.
If it was 3 teeth, would you believe it? In which case...
Too late to change your mind, Bob.
Yes, I would.
You believe it was 3?
Yes.
You want to think around that.
Why?
Because it might help you to decide whether it's true or false.
No.
David. The mind games.
OK, David, it's time to decide, truth or lie.
What do you think?
OK, I did think it was a truth, just because of everything that's happened.
Yeah,
but now I think the amount of teeth...
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Imagine it's a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to bring you down to my hell, but why would he go for 9? Wouldn't he go for a more believable number if he was making it up?
That's true. He would have gone for 2.
So why would he say 9 unless it's true? Yeah.
I can see through Bob, and I know this is a lie. It's up to you, but I'm telling the truth. It's a lie, David.
It's true.
Do you think it's true?
Yeah, but it doesn't say 9
You think
teeth
it's
on
lie?
the card, though. It just says teeth. It just says teeth. He could be trying to be like...
David,
scare
it's
off.
just a game.
It's true.
I think
it's true.
No, David.
No, I don't. I think it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
We're going lie. I don't know what I think.
All right,
But I'm saying it's a lie.
Bob, they think it's a lie. Was it a lie, or were you telling the truth?
I was telling the truth.
Yes, it's true. Now, Bob did have to pull out a Sunday brunch when his teeth fell out, and we've got a picture. Take a look at this. It's Bob.
Sorry?
It's you, Bob.
It's apple pie tonight.
Is it? It's Friday then?
Yes.
Following advice from Chris Rea, I always crack an egg into my bath. I've done for 22 years.
We should say for any of the younger viewers, some of my fans, who Chris Rea was a very popular singer.
When did Chris Rea give you this advice, and in what context?
I was making a single for Middlesbrough Football Club's FA Cup appearance called Let's Dance, which I did with Chris Rea. And after we'd completed the recording, he popped me into the bath, and there was an egg. It's an egg in it.
He popped you into the bath. It's been a long day. You must be very tired. I'll just pop you into the bath. Yeah. So where was this bath? Was it at the recording studio?
It's on a little island in the middle of the Thames. It's as rare as recording studio is.
So you've been recording, presumably, in a room without a bath?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you finish the recording, everyone's very happy with the track.
Yep.
And he says, Bob, you look tired. Maybe your joints are aching this way.
No, it's not exactly like that. It says, that's it, Bob, I think we've got that leg. That's your bedroom, that's your bath. I've popped an egg in there for you.
Is it Geordie?
Yeah.
He's like where I'm from, Middlesbrough.
Right.
But he's much more Middlesbrough than me, like.
And why would he put an egg in your bath? What was the thinking behind it?
I've never found out.
You've done it ever since.
All I know is that I woke up the next morning and I have never felt so alive.
Was the egg still in its shell, floating, or had he gone...
No, the white had dissipated. Does that work?
Yeah.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's non-greasy, which is a boon, isn't it?
Is it non-greasy?
Yeah, honestly.
It's less greasy than water without egg in it?
Do you have to mix it up, or do you just crack it and let it float?
Do you know what? You get in the bath, even in the bath where I am now, and you get in and you really don't want to burst the yolk. So the white goes, but the yolk's there, and you move like that, and you try and get it to come towards like that. And I don't know why, but you just do.
Have you ever had it get in your mouth?
You get it there like that. And then you get the yolk, and I use it for hair conditioning. Really? I don't know how much hair, but to condition the hair on my skin.
So, just going back to the original occasion, Chris Rea had already run you a bath.
Yes.
I forgot about that detail.
If you knew Chris, it's just so Chris. Yeah. Do you know, the other thing is a couple of weeks later, he sent me a gold doily.
Right. To dry yourself off?
I don't know. But so, I'm just saying, these things are just so Chris.
Do you think that the way Bob describes what happened to the egg white... he says it just dissipates. Is that
If your
plausible?
bath is hot, then you're going to have a poached white.
I'd have thought the white would turn white. And
Well,
there'd be bits of white.
How hot is your bath? Your bath is hot enough that an egg could poach.
Well, I don't know. Your claim is that it dissipates. I'm asking my team whether we believe that it would dissipate. Because if, for example, at the temperature of bath, say 39 degrees Celsius, the white would turn opaque, then your story doesn't check out.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Absolutely agreed.
I think...
What do you think, David?
I think it's fair to say that if anyone else had made this allegation about Chris Rea and an egg in their bath, we wouldn't be giving it a moment's consideration. Somehow, coming from Bob, it might be true. It's true.
I think...
You think it?
I think it's true, because he's been about a bit, Bob.
No.
I think the white would poach.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the egg is the important
chemical
part.
analysis of the behaviour of the albumin.
David, honestly, one thing, please don't base it on the albumin whitening. It does not happen. It does not. I can't have a bath at 80+ degrees.
Is that the temperature at which an egg white will
80 it'll start at about 80, yeah. Honestly, please don't base it on that.
What should I base it on, Bob?
What are you going to say?
Instinctively, I believe it. We're going to go true.
You're saying true? OK, so, Bob, Chris Rea, eggs, baths, is it the truth or is it a lie?
This is awful.
I was telling a lie.
Of course it's a lie! He said Chris Rea put an egg in his bath! Of course it's a lie! It's obviously a lie! Who could possibly believe that? It'd be more likely that someone was stuck in a car wash for 3 hours.
Yes, it's a lie. Bob doesn't crack an egg into his bath following advice from Chris Rea.
For the past 15 years, I have performed my own dentistry.
David's team.
So, give us a big grin.
It could be true.
I know, you're implying I'm a bad dentist.
No, because even very, very, very good dentists sometimes get someone else to do their teeth. And by sometimes, I, of course, mean always.
How do you do that? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, no, the key to it is I don't do extractions. I haven't had to.
Fillings?
I do fillings. I do fillings, crown replacement. I repair bridges. Specifically, I don't do, so don't ask, Stacey. I don't do implants. I don't do root canal.
Do you drill?
I do have a drill I use.
You have to do a filling, you've got to drill it out first, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Do you use local anaesthetic?
Yeah. No need.
No need?
No need.
Why, because it's not true?
The situation in my mouth is I have one very long piece of teeth, that white bit there. That's all one piece, yeah?
What?
One piece. Made to look like many teeth.
Oh, I see. So that's false teeth.
Yes.
OK.
Either end of this, I have two, what you call crowns, yeah? Right at the end. At the bottom, I have my own teeth here. As my dentist says, my bottom one's a poppadom colour, yeah? And my top ones are pilo rice.
So who said that?
My dentist.
So this was some time ago?
No. David,
15 years.
I perform my own dentistry.
Yeah.
There's no exclusivity there.
You still have a dentist,
yes,
but you just don't let him do all the stuff.
Yes.
Why is your mouth in such a state?
Because I used to have 17 sugars in a cup of coffee or tea.
17?
17, yes.
17 in a mug?
Yes. If I had 18, it's too sweet for me. So the crowns would come off. I'd go to the dentist, yeah? He'd charge me 400 quid, yeah, to put them back in. And it's outrageous. And I heard this magic word. I heard him say to his dental nurse, Fuji 9. Yeah? Fuji 9. And I became aware that this Fuji 9, it's actually a luting cement, which means you can use it...
Are you sure he wasn't halfway through a Japanese football result?
You can actually use it... It mixed 1-to-1, the liquid and the powder, it's a cement, yeah? Mixed 2-part liquid,
Yeah.
then it becomes more malleable for fillings. I found a way via my TV work to get hold of some Fuji 9. Once you have Fuji 9,
Why could you
are a dentist.
So what equipment do you have, then?
All I have is my Fuji 9 with its little orange spoon, with a bigger end and a littler end.
For the different amounts, depending on whether you want the 50-50 or the 2-to-1.
That's Fuji 9.
Yeah.
It's all done for you. It's done for you.
It's magic. It's magic.
And then,
it's magic.
It's like the cement is softer than your teeth, yeah? So I have a leather maker's drill, yeah?
Leather maker's drill?
Yes, a leather maker's drill, because that has sanding fitments to grind it down. You got to check your bite after you fix the crown. If you get it a bit wonky, your bite won't be right. So you have to file the Fuji down. Oh, that bite's nice now. That's nice.
Okay, but yes, the other thing you've got to check after doing your own dentistry is your mental health.
Do you not need one of those special lights?
Kitchen island. I've got a kitchen island. It's nice to have a kitchen island, isn't it? Yeah. And it has it's the only place with a big light over it. So I got my son has a PlayStation seat that's very low back like that. So
PlayStation seat?
Yeah, it's a gamer's seat, and I put that on the kitchen island.
On the kitchen island.
You put it on the island.
Yeah.
So you're up high on the island.
Yes, because then that puts the lamp about there.
And so you're in a PlayStation gamer's seat.
Yes.
Balancing on... What's the surface of the kitchen island?
Do you know, I think it's Corian. It's very nice. Corian was originally what was used for autopsy surfaces. Again, so...
Are you doing your own autopsies at home as well?
Oh, what to say?
Bob, the dog's dead. Bring it in. Bring it in.
So, if I was to say this, the hardest thing is somewhere to hold the mirror.
I think the hardest thing is to sell the story, Bob.
I have the most curved Indian instrument called a samashi or something. And if I put it next to me on my gaming thing, the curve of it, it's just like a flute thing. The curve of it goes there, and I can put my mirror there like that. Got the light there, game thing.
Sorry, you hang the mirror on the end of a curvaceous Indian musical instrument.
Yes.
But this is very specific.
So what's it going to be?
There's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
If he was trying to make this story plausible, why would he say the way I set up the mirror is that I tie it to the end of an Indian musical instrument?
Do you remember Bob being on this show before?
Yes, and it's always true. It's true about the masks in Castle Douglas. It was true about him being able to tear an apple apart with his bare hands. It was true about the game in the gardens.
Well, look, whether or not it's true, and we don't know yet, don't try it at home. I
Do you ever do extractions, Bob?
I've never done an extraction.
Because I genuinely had an extraction yesterday, look. I see it out there.
Oh, they've not used Fuji.
All right, so what's it going to be?
I think it's true.
You think it's what?
I think it's true.
So, Bob, is it the truth or is it a lie?
It is true.
Bob, let's all gather round the fireside and you can tell us tales of your youth.
This is Michael. I once punched him in the face because I thought he was a ghost.
Bob, how do you know Michael?
This is Michael, and after cutting his hair, I got a job on a campsite as a hairdresser.
And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Michael?
This is Michael. Together, we helped free a donkey that had trapped itself in the cubicle of a seaside toilet.
Bob, you cut Michael's hair, and this was on a campsite.
Yeah.
How did you come to... Because you're not a hairdresser, are you?
I'm a hairdresser, David.
Had you previously worked as a hairdresser, had you?
I'm from a family, I'm the youngest of 4 boys. And in my family tradition is that the eldest is a priest, then a lawyer, then a teacher, and then a hairdresser. So it fell to me to take up the scissors. I was given my first set of scissors when I was 13.
I actually had a pair of scissors when I was younger than that.
Were you the 4th child?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was more for, you know, cutting out bits of coloured paper.
Oh, no, these were Japanese steels. These were Yasakis.
Right, OK. So you were given these hairdressing scissors at the age of 14?
Yes.
Had you undergone any further training or just were encouraged to experiment?
Well, here's the rub, because Michael, or Mickey, you know, Mickey the drink, he's...
Why is he called Mickey the drink?
Anyway, so, he was one of the first people that I ever gave a haircut to as a young boy. He was one of my friends. And then, fast forward to 1982. I go to the World Cup in Spain. There was Michael, Billy the Pigeon... Gentle Kent.
Billy the Pigeon?
Gentle Kent, yeah.
Why is he called Billy the Pigeon? Oh, he's found his way home.
No, he's a pigeon. Because he had like a fat chest. We all went to Spain. We were on the campsite for the England fans. I, as always, gave Mickey his haircut. And the one-man army from Nottingham, the Nottingham Forest fan, caused all the trouble out there. He demanded that he had a haircut.
What trouble did he cause out there?
Well, for example, he rushed to the cafe that we're in and threw a coin like that. Could have damaged anyone. Luckily, it went straight in the slot machine and won the jackpot. I'm just going on here. It was really a rather simple story. So I cut Mickey's hair, I'd done since he was 13.
So you'd cut his hair regularly. You first did when he was 13.
When he was 13, one of the first people...
You were his regular hairdresser.
No, that would be a lie, but I would always cut Mickey's hair.
Yeah.
I was seen doing this, and before you knew it, over the course of the next 10 days, I probably did 50 to 60 haircuts.
And were you paid for these haircuts?
I probably was, but in kind.
Right.
Oh,
because, the only thing any of the English fans could say was huevo solo, and that got you an egg sandwich. And I seem to remember that people, because I was cutting hair, it was always in the morning, that someone would bring me, oh, mate, you're busy cutting hair, you have a huevo solo.
So you paid in egg sandwiches?
I think maybe I was.
And you did 50 haircuts over, what, how many days?
I think that was probably 8 days.
So you're having 50 egg sandwiches over 8 days?
I mean, I'm interested in the haircuts themselves.
Yeah.
Was there a signature style? It was the early 80s. Were there mullets going on? I mean, what was the look?
It was a feathered look I was expert at. It was called, where I'm from, it's called the foffer. You'll probably think of it like Rod Stewart.
Oh, it's a lovely look.
Layered at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you still cut hair now?
Oh, not so much now, Robert. To be honest with you, I can't do the new cuts.
What? Did you hear that? I can't do the new cuts.
the new cuts.
We need an answer. David's team. Is Michael Diane's ghostly guy, Bob's campsite client, or Lee's donkey do-gooder?
Well, what do you think?
See, when I heard Diane's story, I thought that was a lie. And then I heard Bob's story, and, Lee's story, and then suddenly Diane's story seems a little bit more real.
I think it's Bob. I think giving your man a haircut is the truth.
50 haircuts in a week, paid in egg sandwiches.
I don't know that you can do that hairstyle with one pair of scissors. I'm from a family of hairdressers, and I just don't think you can do Rod Stewart.
Family of hairdressers.
Scissors,
Did you have more than one pair of scissors with you?
No, my response to that, Nadia, is a family of not very good hairdressers.
Two sets of scissors?
He looks round about Bob's age.
And Bob's haircut.
Yeah.
Can I just say, one final chance, he looks to me like a man who hangs round gentlemen's toilets.
I'm going with Diane.
Yeah.
Going with Diane. We're settling. David's team are saying that it is Diane. Michael, would you please confirm your true identity?
My name is Michael, and Bob gave me a haircut and a cancel.
We can actually see photographic evidence of Bob cutting Michael's hair. There they are.
Oh, my gosh.
It really did happen. Thank you very much, Michael.
I have a possession.
Ah, there's a box. Take the item out of the box. That's it. Pop it there, and then read the card thus.
This is the cushion that I used to carry my pet owl around on. I would have brought the owl, but he escaped last week.
David's team, what do you think?
What kind of an owl was it?
Oh, yeah.
Tawny.
Yeah. Tawny's perch on branches.
Yeah.
So how did you get it to perch on a big, flat, soft cushion?
Oh, Steve, it's so good to have you here.
How did I? Is there a problem here, Steve? Here are the talon marks. I have a rare breeds farm near me, and they had to get rid of a tawny owl that was injured. It couldn't use its wings, and I shouldn't use the words, it couldn't use its bottom.
For what?
For doing what? For poo-pooing.
What did it use?
So, as a trustee of the organisation, because it's just down the road from me, in Warehorn, I agreed to have... I agreed that I would look after it. It actually had what you would call a colostomy bag.
We wouldn't call it that.
No, you would.
We'd call it a colostomy bag.
Have I said it right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have picked it up, but you did specifically say that's what we would have called it. I thought I'd better address this because we really wouldn't.
Steve, is an owl's colostomy bag called a colostomy bag?
Yes, it is.
You wouldn't really need it because the majority of kind of solid fecal matter with an owl comes out of its mouth.
Yeah. No, we're dealing with a very sick owl. No, I'm sorry, I sound aggressive there, but I can see... No, he's escaped now, and I can see his little face. We were given a pipette with what was owl nourishment.
So you had to feed it
with a
pipette?
Yes.
And how did it stand on the cushion if, as Steve says, it needs a perch?
No,
it was fine, just so...
I've clearly not made it clear. This is an incredibly sick bird. You can't judge it, by the normal tone. This is just a lump of meat and feathers. There's just hanging on in there.
But the thing still escapes.
Yes, Actually, I suspect it was killed by my cats.
Why did this owl sanctuary, when it has a sick owl, why didn't it look after the owl itself rather than give it to a local celebrity?
Because I'm
the cushion and cats.
I'm very closely associated with it.
Sorry, my client would like a minute.
You had clearly said to me you were going to nurse it back to health?
No, that was never going to happen.
It's palliative care.
No, it's palliative care.
Palliative care.
It was
Palliative care for the owl.
A hospice for the owl.
For the owl.
And we had some decent times.
Did he have a name, this owl?
We called it...
Did you? You called it...
So you're upset, Bob, I can tell. If you need a minute, it's OK. But what did you call it?
Sorry?
What did you call it?
What did we call the owl?
Yeah.
Well, we called him Mavis.
Bob, what did you feed it with the pipette?
It was described to me as owl nourishment. Everything.
You just take bowls and put them in a liquidizer.
Steve, I can't impress on you. The most you got out of it. It's just the lift and lid.
It wasn't perched, then it was reclined on the cushion. That was its. That's its. That was its deathbed.
Yeah. We'd have like a broomstick or something and just hold it.
And what have you told the Owl Sanctuary? What have you told them? Because they must have been upset.
No, I've told them he's passed away, yeah.
And they said, well, that's fine. We knew Mavis was going to die soon. That's why we gave him or her to you, a comedian who lives locally, to keep on a cushion in the same room as some cats.
So my client would like to change his plea.
This isn't sounding...
You're a trustee, did you say, of this charity?
Yes, it's a rare breeds farm in Warehorn. Does family days. Sadly, I haven't got an owl at the moment. But...
So, David, what are you thinking? Is this true?
No, this isn't true.
I think you made all that up.
I just don't believe they would let him bring a dying tawny owl home.
No, I don't think so. I think we're saying it's a lie.
I think you are.
But and I think that's the Rare Breed Centre probably needs to look at its working practices if it happens to be true. But
OK, Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling a lie. The police once ordered me to leave town, unspecified, because I was frightening the locals.
David's team, what do you think?
Could you give us some context, Bob?
I'll give you the name of the town. It was Castle Douglas.
Ah.
Where is that?
It's southwest Scotland.
And why were you in Castle Douglas?
Was it a tour or something?
No, it was a long time ago. I was only 17, 18, that kind of age. And...
A numerical age, that kind.
Yeah.
Rather than iron or bronze. That's a different kind of...
I was with two friends trying to get as close to the Gulf Stream as I possibly could.
What? What do you mean you wanted to get close to the Gulf Stream?
It seemed such an appealing, far-off, miraculous thing, this hot stream of water so near us, that it was hard to believe in it just from the textbooks.
But it's not like a spa. It's a massive flow within the ocean.
Yeah, but
you can't see it.
Well, if you're at the Logan Botanical Gardens...
Well, there's a lovely view of the Gulf Stream.
No, but you can see the effects of the Gulf Stream. You know, it's like a tropical gardens, and so in that way you sense the influence of the Gulf Stream. Well, no, it's extraordinary.
I know all teenagers are absolutely mad on the Gulf Stream. They can't get enough of it and its
flowers.
But
that was one reason amongst many.
But the police of Castle Douglas don't mind the teenagers who'll flock there to admire the effect of the Gulf Stream. So what was it that you did that put their noses out of joint?
We scared the locals, apparently, because we were wearing very grotesque masks.
Why were you wearing masks? If you're going to gardens, why would you wear a mask?
Ah, well, here's the thing. That's a perfect question.
Yeah. Just before you answer it, have a minute.
we were travelling in a Morris Minor, and we were sleeping in the car. There was three of us. There's me mate Harry Harriman and Steve.
Steve Harriman.
Steve, by the way. He was. Have you just called Steve, by the way?
He was. Steve, by the way. Steve, by the way, as in incidentally.
Yes. Anyway, we had these...
You're wearing these masks?
We're wearing these grotesque...
Why are we wearing these masks?
We're wearing these masks because we didn't have anywhere to sleep and we were sleeping in the car.
Right.
They'd been given us by Harry Harriman's mum, yeah, to keep us warm at night because of the heat.
What, latex, grotesque latex masks?
Yes. They were just old men's masks, but they were to keep us warm. Harry Harriman's mum she sold these stuff from home, and she sold another thing which was called a jobble top, yeah, which was a bobble hat that made it into a jumper, and the big bobble was at the back and it buttoned down the front, and that was.
I'm telling you now, right? If this is a lie and they end up saying lie, I will say to you, why did you make it more difficult for yourself? By mentioning the joggle top, or whatever it was called.
Because I'm imagining my sleeping arrangements and think, yes, we had the latex masks on and these giant, like, what they're called jobble tops.
Right,
Okay. So, if you're wearing a sleeping mask and you're scaring the locals, like, normally the locals would be in bed when you're going to sleep, and it's dark, and you're in your car and you got a scary mask on. You know.
No, we were just on our daytime drive from Dundee to Castle Douglas.
With masks on.
As we went past
Keep
people,
your faces warm.
we were staring at them with our scary masks.
Why did you not remove... Because I would say, from my experience of sleeping all night in a classic car in a latex mask and a jobble top, you get quite clammy. And so in many ways, it's quite a relief to take the latex mask off for the next day's drive.
Yes, and
Dave, not to mention how it helps being able to see where you're going.
Yeah. But then, no, of course, we take the mask off in the morning, but then round about midday, you wanted to put it back on. Yeah.
At what point did the police get involved? Didn't the police get
We
involved?
parked up in Castle Douglas, right next to a shop, because we wanted to get one of their famous Scotch pies. As we came out of the shop, I was grabbed by a policeman, and it was a sergeant, by the way.
Sergeant, by the way. So that's how you got away with it, because you said, don't worry, that's my dad.
Maybe it was.
I'm a sergeant, by the way. I think Daddy!
So the sergeant,
by the way,
he took me to the police station, and
So he arrested you?
Yes, taken, put in a room, and then the sergeant and a plainclothes detective came in.
Plainclothes detective? Oh, yeah. What has you done? CID have now got involved.
And then they said, you're going to have to wait here. We've sent for a specialist from Edinburgh.
and then, as we sat in, it came in and said, right, what's with the funny faces? They said, what's with the funny faces?
So what did you say?
Well, we explained what had happened, that we had these funny faces, that we slept in them, and that we're terribly sorry to have caused any offence.
So presumably then they released you?
Sergeant, by the way, followed us till we were out of the city limits. So that's my story. It's quite a holiday.
What do you think?
I know what I think.
What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
Yeah.
That's not what I think. Cian, what do you think?
I'm going to go untrue.
OK, Cian's going untrue. Adil's going true. David?
My initial reaction is it's a lie. Let's say it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie?
Yeah.
Bob Mortimer. Yes? Was that story true? Or was it a lie?
It was true.
Yes, it was true. The police did order Bob to leave town because he was frightening the locals.
As a teenager, I used to terrorise my neighbourhood with a game I invented called Theft and Shrubbery.
What were the rules of theft and shrubbery?
Can I first of all say my memories of this are a bit sketchy?
Always handy for this game.
No, well, I'm an older gentleman. They're more like just fingerprints on an abandoned handrail.
Even while you poetically describe the ageing process, another part of your brain is inventing the rules of a fictional game.
It's Theft and Shrubbery. Yeah. It's a game that I played in my youth, in my teens, on the Lakes estate in Middlesbrough. I would probably be 14 or 15. I hope that's all the information you need.
As to what this game involved?
Yes, of course.
Of course. In which case, I'm satisfied and there's no need to tell me. What were the rules?
There would have to be a gang of you. I would usually be with Staver and Bagger.
I didn't realise you knew hobbits as a child.
Neil Overall, Jerry Dungaree's son, of course.
Didn't take his father's name.
Hated him. Hated him. So, and Gary Cheeseman would be there. The reason he was called Cheesy is because his mum used to give him a cheese. Do you know the cheese slice? Yeah. Oh, yeah. To take out with him when we were hanging around the shops and that, because she thought it was good for his spots. roasted one in first and sliced.
Surely it's because of his surname Cheeseman.
No.
Surely that was part of it.
Do you know, Gary Cheeseman was a big lad, yeah? A very big head. Sniper's dream, they used to call him. Oh, he's such a nice... The thing is, he's such a nice lad. And he was a...
I love these points in the show where we say, Bob, let's all gather round the fireside and you can tell us tales of your youth.
So the rules of the game, of course you will not. The rules of the game. Theft and... Shrubbery. Were relatively simple. You had to creep into the back of someone's house and observe the family watching the telly or whatever they're doing, yeah?
It's getting a bit sinister now, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
Is this at night?
This is on the evening time, yeah.
So the family, as it were, backlit by the domestic lighting?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you'd find one where the curtains were open, yeah? Go to the rear of the garden and then you'd slowly walk towards the window, right? Try not to disturb them, and you'd chant, increasing the volume as you went, "We do beg your pardon. But we are in your garden." And then you gradually get closer and closer to the window, and as soon as you were seen, that's when shrubbery comes in.
Which was what?
You were not allowed to escape via the front of the property. You had to go across all the fences. Because you're teenage, what you're really waiting for is someone to make a noise or give yourself away, so that you all have to go run through all the gardens.
That's the shrubbery part.
That's the shrubbery
What's
part.
the theft part?
The theft is... We just always felt that we were stealing something from them.
Their
Privacy, their dignity.
So you're going up the garden saying louder and louder, "We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden." "We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden." You're shouting.
How loud
elderly people who are hard of hearing, you could be going, "We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden," before they notice it.
Yeah.
This game can't have lasted, I'm imagining, very long before people kind of rumbled you and...
No, it was just one of the games, that we did. It could be theft and shrubbery night. There was another night where we used to take fruit from a fruit vendor's wagon and throw that up in the air and just let it drop on our heads.
Something tells me you played that quite a lot, Bob. Next time, don't use melons.
Cheeseman was very good at it.
So what do you think, David?
Steve, what do you
My
think?
concern is that the details are so utterly believable and sound like they're real that if it wasn't actually a game, he spent an awful lot of time looking through people's windows.
I'm coming down on the side of truth.
Yeah, I know it sounds odd, but I just believe it.
You're going to say true? Yeah. OK, so, theft and shrubbery. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling the truth.